Hi, this is Kelly. Welcome to my channel. Today we have Enchanted Elegance, 2 Witchy Christmas DIYs. DIY number 1, Midnight Lace. So I got this witch hat thrifting and it was covered with that tinsel garland, and I just removed that, and now I'm snipping off all these little nubs. Nice pair of wire snips will do that. And I've got this black fabric from Dollar Tree, and we're just going to snip it enough to get a hold of it and tear it into about 2-inch wide strips. And then we're going to pluck off all the excess strings, and we're ready to go. Now this ends up just being the base. I was gonna have it showing, but it just, this basically covers up where it's still kind of bumpy from all those little nubs and stuff. So it would probably be easier if you wanted to do something like this to just get larger pieces of fabric or some felt or even some really lightweight cardboard to create a base, because this ends up being a lot of work to be just my base, but it wasn't what I was first going for, so that's just how it worked out. So we're gonna put some lace over top of it, but yeah, if you're gonna do something like this, do something a lot easier than this if you're gonna cover it up anyway. So, but all I'm doing is just I cut a few of the strips into shorter pieces to start at the top, and then just use longer pieces as I went down, and just some hot glue, and I just wrapped it. And if you want to do this and do just a couple layers of fabric, this will work, but I only had enough to cover the hat once, so I was like, well, I'm gonna have to put something else on here. So I go with the black lace, and it worked out really nice. But yeah, like I said, this was a lot more work than it needed to be to do this part. But what are you gonna do? Every project I do, or not every, but these more elaborate projects I do are an experiment, that's for sure. I never know where it's going to end up. I do a shadow box. I do a lot of those, which is my second project today. I kind of know what I'm doing with that, at least to a point, But with this this kind of thing, I just never know where it's going, so here we are. But yeah, if you do it this way and you have enough fabric to go around it a second time, it'll look great. But yeah, it needed to kind of smooth the surface. So yeah, like I said, some felt would work well, because I think that would cushion it better, and just soften the those little pointy spots a little more. But so I've got the top done. As you can see, looking from the top, there's gaps in it and everything else. So yeah, if you're going to do that twice, great. But there's definitely easier ways to do it. So now I'm just going to take some and do the brim of the hat the same way. Some hot glue. And then once you get it down, then wrap it around the bottom. But yeah, once I decided to put the lace on, I thought, God, I wish I'd have known how I was going to end up doing this, because I'd have done something a lot easier than those strips. I have another hat that I got the same time I got this one, and I'm thinking of maybe doing a red and black plaid or something, maybe. And if I do, I'm going to do, like I said, and do some felt and then the fabric. So I just cut a circle out of black felt, and I had to make it a little bigger. The one sheet wasn't big enough, you see the blue tape, and just tape the straight edges together and cut out the circle. And we're just going to hot glue that to the bottom. Cover up all that ugly on the bottom. So I got this lace. I found some kind of blouse thrifting that I cut all the lace out of. So it's kind of in strange shapes and sizes. So what I'm doing is I'm doing the bottom half of the cone first and just hot gluing that in place. Got my spatula, don't burn your fingers. And I'm going to trim it up. Yeah, it turns out really pretty, but it was a lot of extra work to get here, which wasn't necessary, but oh well, it's done now. And what I did was I folded the cut edge under to create kind of a nice seam there. And with this, I do make sure that that is the back of my hat when all is said and done, because it does show. And when I put the top piece on, it doesn't line up quite perfectly, so... And that's okay. A little more glue my seam down. And just be careful to get the glue underneath there and not all over the daggone place. Yeah. Glue strings. Ugh. So yeah, get this lace glued down around the bottom. And this turns out really pretty. It's so simple, but it's just so pretty. So now I'm doing the lace around the top, and I've glued it to the tip. And I'm just going to bring it around, and it overlaps the lower piece of lace, and it just lays over there, and it blends together where you can't even tell. Because the pattern's so busy and it's black. I always say black hides all. Yeah. So, and there you see, there was already a seam on this. The end piece that I glued down already happened to be the seam, so that worked out well. And I just lined it up as best I could to my first seam, so it was all in the same place. And like I said, this hat, you're gonna want to determine the front on the opposite side of all that. So now if you have a larger piece of fabric, it's not just cut up like this lace, and I just had to roll with it how it was. Like I said, it was in all these weird shapes and sizes. So now I've got some creepy cloth, and all I did was I cut the length I needed to go around the brim, and kind of rolled it under itself so the fray cut edges would be on the underside. And I'm trimming off these straggly edges, and again, make sure this is the back where the seams and the lace are. And I'm just going to run some glue, lift it up, run some glue underneath there. And I had my spatula there, but it was thick enough. It was several layers where I could go ahead and press it with my fingers, but do be careful. Always check. Don't just stick your fingers in there until you know. I got my little spatula there. You can use a pair of scissors, popsicle stick. But something that's silicone is best if possible, because it's not going to stick to the glue. Sometimes it does, but it's not going to do it as bad as if you have, a popsicle stick or something. And I'll get this end out. And I folded under that end to give it a fairly nice seam, so it wasn't just the straggly edges. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Your support and comments and likes have really helped my channel grow. And I sure hope you're enjoying this Gothic Christmas look. And I got this mesh ribbon at Dollar Tree last year, and it's just so pretty. And what I did here was I cut the length I needed to go around. It's going to be my my trim, and fold it in half lengthwise. And I just took a needle and some red thread, and since it's got that grid pattern, the little squares, I just went around that edge and went like every other square and hooped it around to cinch it together. Because I was like, if I try to glue this together, all you're going to see is glue. And it worked out pretty nice. Worked out well. And then I do a few hoops, and then I pull it out straight and tighten it back down so it doesn't get bunched up. And for the edges, I've got a couple pieces of felt. I'm just going to put some glue on the felt and lay the end of that ribbon in the glue and the other piece of felt on top. And that'll keep the ribbon from fraying and give me something to glue it to the hat with. So I'll just press that down and snip off the excess. And this will be my hat band. And we're just going to add some glue to the little felt tabs. And glue that in place. And again, make sure that lines up with where your back seam is. And then bring it around tight where you want it. And glue the other piece of felt down. So yeah, I was looking at florals and some poinsettias and all this stuff that I was going to decorate it with. And I ended up just doing the band and a simple bow. And I was like, I'm not messing with that. It's so pretty. Simple. Sometimes simple is the way to go. So I've got that on there. Gosh, I need to get down to Dollar Tree, see if they have any more of that this year. Like I said, this was last year. So I'm just going to do a crisscross, do an awareness ribbon shape, and then pull it together on top. And we're just going to pinch this together and use that. I've got that red sparkly pipe cleaner, and we'll use that to tie it together. And that'll just blend in with that ribbon, and you'll never see it. And well, I'm off screen there, but just give it a couple of twists, and then make sure you like your bow. It's just so simple and so pretty. And then I twisted it several more times to give it about 3 inches maybe. And then I snipped that off, so it's just one heavier piece of wire. And I don't even glue this on. I just bend it and tuck it down in the band. And of course you can add some glue, but why get glue all over everything? Sometimes you don't have to. So I just tucked it in the back and then pressed it down so it would pinch and grab the ribbon there, and this is done. It's just so simple. Because I was looking at all this different stuff to put on it, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to add a little gold shimmer and call it a day. So I've got my metallic gold paint. And I got this from Hobby Lobby. It's a Deco Art brand. And this particular paint, it doesn't really paint a coat of color. It just kind of gives you a lot of shimmer. It's really nice. DIY number 2, Poinsettia Prophecy. So I got these little shadow boxes at Dollar General back when football season first started, and I've used these a few times. And I'm just going to use my heat gun and this putty knife and pry this football off, and then peel all this paper out of the back. And I take my little utility knife and cut around the edges first, and that'll give you a nice clean when you start tearing it towards the sides, so you'll get a clean edge instead of a mess. And I take my little scraper and just peel all this off. And then once I get all that top paper off, you have kind of that backing still on there. Just sand that really well, and then once you get a coat of paint on it, it just mashes it right down in there. And then, as you see, I painted it all black. And I've got Imperial Red. And I'm just dry brushing some red. And that is a folk art chalk paint. Imperial Red. It's so pretty. Nice dark red. And I'm getting it all around the front and sides and inside the box. And here's my images. Look at her. And I just printed these on cardstock and tore them out. And we're going to take some black chalk paint, and we're going to get all those edges really well first, and then we're going to dry brush, distress it a little bit, darken it up a little bit. The usual. I just love her. She's just so pretty. So you see, she's got poinsettias all around her hat. I thought about doing that with that hat. You could do that. You could decorate that hat however you like. Poinsettias all around the base would be pretty. You wouldn't even need a hat band necessarily. So then I take that same gold shimmery paint and hit these with that. Once that red is dry, just give it a little shimmer. It is Christmas. We gotta make it pretty. We gotta make it shine. And then I'm going to also go over both images with that shimmery gold. It doesn't show up in the video as well as it does in person. It's so pretty. So now we're going to get our Mod Podge on the back of this cardstock and spread that out with our brush. Make sure you get all the corners and edges really well. Try not to get, you know, the Mod Podge that's on your fingers on the front of it, and get it in place. And I don't Mod Podge the front. I'm going to spray them with a satin finish clear coat, because I don't want to dull that gold, but I don't want to make it super glossy either. And I use my paper towel to press down and get out all the air bubbles. Isn't she pretty? So here's they both are ready to decorate. Got my black Spanish moss, and I'm going to put a little of that across the bottom of each one. Get a little hot glue under there. Oh, I see my ribbons are laying there. I must have forgot to add the clip to my video here. And I'm just gluing down that Spanish moss. But yeah, the ribbons there, they're just strips of black crochet ribbon, some more of that red mesh ribbon from the first project that I cut in skinnier strips, and some black chiffon ribbon just tied together. That's all that is. So I have these little mini ornaments. I'm going to glue them in place in a minute. But this jingle bell, I think it was a box of 4 from Dollar General as ornaments, and they were gold. And I painted them black and then dry brushed the red and gold shimmer on the bell, just like I did everything else. And I'm going to glue these little red ornaments over on this side. I love doing these little shadow boxes. They're just so fun, and you can put anything you want in here, or nothing at all. You don't have to do anything. Or you can get some small poinsettias and some green and put it in whatever you want to do. And these are Etsy papers, of course. I'll have the link in the description. Aren't they pretty? And then my little ribbon bundles, I'm going to glue them to the top right corner. Press that down really well. And as you see on the other one, I also glued the bell and ornaments in the same way. These little ribbons on there. I got these little stickers at Michael's. They were on sale. It was Paper Krafts 50% off or whatever. So I got these little poinsettias, and I'm just going to press them on the top of the little bows. And these little cuties are done. And here they are. Here's my simple little hat. So simple, so pretty. Love it. And my little shadow boxes. This little witch shadow box, that's gotta be one of my all-time favorites. She's so beautiful. Thanks again for being here with me today. I sure hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like and share and all the things. Bye.